Alright, so here's another update. The system's almost ready to kick on, but to do so, I want to make sure that I have a box for all my electrics outside. It's sort of grown, and what I need to do is for this ultrasonic fogger to work, there's a massive power supply that needs to be, and I don't know, this is maybe 5-6 kilos at least. This is really heavy. And so, it's also very big. So where do you put something like this? Obviously you don't want to put it outside in the rain. So what I decided on doing was create an outside electric box. Just a cheap box, but from upside down, it's it's watertight, but rain won't get into it. And I built a couple of feet and 4 holes. This way, it will stand raised from the ground, so I will have ventilation going through. I can put cables in, and water won't get to the electrics basically. This seems very temporary. I actually mean for this to be fairly permanent, then why not put like a proper electric box on the wall out? Well, you got to remember, this again is a rental apartment. You're not really allowed to drill any holes into anything, so that's why most of my stuff is modular. Most of my stuff is not drilled into anything really. In fact, none of it is. Most of it is tied onto the balcony. But it works very well. All of this is very stable, not going anywhere. But it is easy to take down. It is easy to break apart and move to other places if I need to. So that's the idea with this. I'm going to put the electrics in, hook everything up, and then we'll get to fire up the system and see how it works. Stay tuned. Finally time to fire up the system. Now I've got the electronics sort of in my box here, and the fan is already blowing. I've had it at sort of, basically it's adjustable. I have it at 6 volts right now. I don't know if you can see 6 volts here. Yeah, so 6 volts. That's the fan, 120 millimeter fan. Seems to be drawing pretty nicely. I'm going to close up the electronics here so we don't get any water splashes onto that. That should be all closed away. Now there's probably a little bit too much water in the reservoir right now, to be honest. We're just going to fire it up anyway just to see how it goes. There you go. I'm expecting that this corner which is open is probably going to end up, well, it's probably going to leak out of that one for now, but that's okay. If I actually turn this on. Oh, there we go. Oh, hey, there we go. Alright. Well, as you can see, it starts up. And interestingly, you have a lot of splashing actually. But that's okay. So, as you can see, it's sort of leaking out everywhere. So let's go ahead and put this on. Put this back here. And poof. Get this in here. Make sure it's a little bit tighter. Yeah, okay, so neighbors are probably going to think that my house is on fire, but there. Oh, should be interesting to see. Put a hand over here, see what happens. I can see a lot of it still going up through that crack here. Let's see. Whew. I mean, it is coming out the right places, but way too much is leaking out here. So yeah, next step is putting on a proper plate, which was sort of what I expected. But good to see that it's producing plenty of fog as expected, and it is making it to the tubes. No big surprises there, it's fine. We just need to make sure that all of it goes to those tubes. Now, next up, a proper plating. Again, time for yet another update. Now the first lid that I did, yes, it was way too leaky. I had basically fog going to the tubes, but maybe 5% of it. Most of it had escaped before then, of various cracks and openings. It was sort of expected, so it's okay. It was a quick first attempt. We've now gone on to the second attempt. and I suspect this won't be a long-term solution either, but as a proof of concept. So now getting a big piece of, say, plastic, industrial plastic is super expensive, so I wanted to do a quick test with this board before I did that. And what I've done is I've taken a piece of MDF, which it's compressed wood and paper, so it's basically a big sponge, so not the best thing to put in a hydroponic system. I realize that. But I've laminated that onto a piece of hard polystyrene, like pretty hard, not the soft type. And so that, because there's an edge on the reservoir, so that will help form a pretty solid seal and protect the MDF to some extent, at least, from the all the moisture coming downstairs. Obviously, it won't protect against rain, so there's that. But a couple of good things about this, rather than the plastic lid, was with this I can drill stuff straight into and it will hold on tightly. So I'm going to have this connection is going to be fairly tight. You can see that. So looking good. I'm going to have the siphon go down here. Now there's no hole saw that fit this perfectly, so there's a bit of play here. But I'm just going to do probably do something like this. Just do a sort of gasket for it, either that or maybe just silicone it in, but I'll probably do a quick gasket. It should be more than enough. Good, so you can just nail that down and I can fit this sideways and then go straight into the system like this. So, yeah, on to step whatever step on that. And just a quick measure, I have done a 25mm U-siphon with a valve so that I can suck out the air and prime it properly between the fogging reservoir and the normal reservoir. That way, yeah, it's just to create better flow, as well as I wanted to redo this with a bit more spacing. It was a little tight before. And then with a valve on, so just makes all the difference having this on, so you can suck out whatever air is up here. That primes the whole siphon and just works without you having to try and flop it in and put it in at the same time. And this is much easier going forward. This is just the way to do it. Yeah, just wanted to let you know. Let me get everything hooked up, and hopefully we're almost ready to go. Stay tuned. My fogger in, and everything is sort of hooked up and ready to go. So yeah, let's let it rip and see what happens. And no, I haven't tested this before starting the video, so we'll see. I think it should start coming up and out in the right places. Alright, so there it is, the fogger in action, looking funny. I just hope the neighbors don't think the house is burning or anything. I'm just going to take the camera off the tripod here for a second. Look around. I don't know how much of this you can see, but it's coming out everywhere. Now keep in mind that while it is under pressure, it is actually, well, it's heavier than air, so when there's no air current going, it should fall down. So I bet you this is because the wind is hitting this side and it's sort of giving a bit of a pushback on it. That's why you're seeing it coming out of the actual tubes. If we go a little bit closer here, let me see if I can do this without actually getting in the way. Yeah, I think it, oh, of course my own shadow's in the way. Genius. Well, I think it's safe to say that it's coming out just fine. Now is that? Oh wow, yeah, over here it's really going well. If I put my hand in, it's not enough that it's moist yet, but I need to increase the power on the fan. It's very humid though, and that's what we're after. Now I think what's going to happen is I'm going to start to clog up all the holes that I'm not using, and what we should see is more efficiency as a total coming out of all of this. Yeah, nice and moist. Yep, so there you have it. Now the idea is that this is not done. I need to clog up the bit of the leak here with where you can see the siphon is opened up. Also, the main return tube here is meant to have plants in it as well. For that to actually work, obviously we're going to need a water flow as well. And I do believe that the fog is not enough in these tubes. So what I want to do is put this on a timer, so the fog will run for say 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 15 minutes off, and in those 15 minutes I will have a spray. Not a super efficient spray, but a spray from the spray nozzles that I had prepared for these tubes in the first place. It will no doubt wash away some of the nutrients, but better that and have more moist there than too little and have it all dry out because of the heat. So yeah, that's the plan. And hopefully once it's all clogged up and we don't have too much of the fog actually coming out of these tubes, pretty much all of it should condensate and go back into the return tube, and any extra water should basically come out here. Now this is a fogger that's I think it's spec'd for 3,500 milliliters per hour, so it will go through quite a bit of water. But if most of that condensates comes back into the system, we should be okay. Oh, look at that. Huh? Interesting. We'll see how this goes. Keep tuned to see how this is going. Any questions or comments, please leave them below, and please like and subscribe. It would be really helpful to me. Thanks.